Imagine a city so ambitious, so proud, it was destined to rival New York. And then, overnight, it was gone. Streets melted into rivers of fire. Families fled their homes, wading waist-deep in Lake Michigan just to survive. This is the story of the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, one of the most catastrophic disasters in American history. Welcome to TSF History, your go-to channel for shocking true stories from America's past. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that will leave you stunned. Chicago in 1871 was booming like never before. Once just a frontier town, it had transformed into a bustling hub of commerce, finance, and industry. Banks, factories, mansions, and theaters lined the streets. The population had exploded to nearly 300,000 residents, making it the fastest-growing city in the United States. But behind the glittering wealth lay a dangerous secret. Almost the entire city was built of wood. Houses, sidewalks, even some streets. Add to that a hot, dry summer and strong autumn winds, and you had a city sitting on a powder keg, just waiting for a spark. On the evening of October 8, 1871, as families settled in for supper, a small fire broke out on the southwest side of the city. Legend says it all started in the barn of Catherine O'Leary when her cow supposedly kicked over a lantern. For over a century, this story has been repeated, but historians now believe it might have been a myth, a way for people to blame one poor immigrant family. Regardless of how it began, what's certain is this: the fire spread with terrifying speed. Flames leapt from building to building. Wooden houses went up like matchsticks. Sparks carried by the wind ignited rooftops blocks away. Within hours, whole neighborhoods were reduced to ash. Imagine walking down your street and seeing the sky glowing red, sparks raining down like fiery snow, and the roar of flames louder than thunder. Panic swept through Chicago. People grabbed what little they could: clothes, family Bibles, treasured heirlooms, and ran. Some tried to flee by horse-drawn carriage, only to find bridges collapsing in flames. Others found themselves trapped by walls of fire closing in from all sides. Desperate, thousands fled toward Lake Michigan. Men, women, and children stood waist-deep in the freezing waters for hours, shielding themselves from the inferno. Entire families watched helplessly as everything they owned was consumed by fire. By dawn, Chicago was unrecognizable. And yet, the fire didn't stop. It raged on for 2 full days, burning across 4 square miles of the city. When it was finally over, the devastation was staggering. Over 17,000 buildings destroyed. More than 100,000 people, a third of the population, left homeless. Property damage worth over $200 million then, equivalent to billions today. The city's proud skyline was reduced to smoldering ruins. Churches, banks, theaters, even the courthouse, gone. But in the middle of destruction came stories of courage and sacrifice. Neighbors risked their lives to save strangers. Firefighters battled flames until their engines collapsed. Some priests and nuns carried children on their backs to safety. Relief efforts poured in from across the country. Food, blankets, and supplies arrived by train. Even distant cities like New York and Boston sent money to help Chicago rise from the ashes. But the haunting question remained: who started it? Was it really Mrs. O'Leary's cow? Was it careless workers smoking in a barn? Or perhaps something darker: arson, or even a cover-up? Historians still debate this, but most agree the real culprit was poor city planning. A wooden city in dry conditions was a disaster waiting to happen. Out of the ashes, however, came rebirth. Chicago rebuilt, this time stronger. Stone and brick replaced fragile wooden houses. Architects like Louis Sullivan and later Frank Lloyd Wright helped turn Chicago into a global center of modern architecture. Fire codes were rewritten, firefighting methods were revolutionized, and urban planning would never be the same again. Within just 2 decades, Chicago was once again thriving, a symbol of resilience and human determination. The Great Chicago Fire was more than just a disaster. It was a test of human courage, community, and survival. In just 48 hours, a city was destroyed. But in the years that followed, it proved that even from the darkest tragedies, hope can rise from the ashes. Could you have survived the Great Chicago Fire of 1871? What would you have done on that terrifying night? Run, fight, or flee to the lake?
Tell us in the comments below. And if you love shocking true stories from America's past, subscribe to TSF History and hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that will leave you stunned. Because history isn't just about dates, it's about survival, struggle, and the lessons that still shape our lives today.